Folks, here's an update on the Raiders meeting with the City of Oakland. It didn't go well. What happened was that, according to a number of sources, Oakland Raiders owner Marc Davis and Oakland Raiders president Marc Badain met with Oakland City Administrator Claudia Cappio, Assistant City Administrator Claudia Cappio, and Oakland-Alameda County Executive Director Scott McKibben. What happened was that their proposal, they being the city, consists of, among other things, a 10% sale of the team, which at the Forbes valuation of $1.45 billion would be $145 million. Marc Davis didn't like that. Further, he didn't cotton to the idea of a $10 surcharge, which is very similar to the $7.50 surcharge I had in my proposal, okay? But hold that thought. Hold that thought, folks. Now, in an email to a person, I can't mention the name, Marc Badain said that he was extremely disappointed with the proposal and that he didn't like that there was still this matter of the sale of part of the team there. He didn't like that the county wasn't involved, and he said the city wasn't putting up any assets at all. But what got him the most were that he said that the team would commit most of its stadium and operating revenues to the payment of the stadium, which leaves the team nowhere, okay? So the sides agreed to meet. Oh, and I might add something else. I'll get to that in a second. The sides agreed to meet in another 2 weeks. Also, Mr. Davis doesn't like that Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf said, basically, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make them drink. And yeah, Libby, I think, gets that she should probably keep her comments out of the media, or maybe you just shouldn't read the media that it comes from. But anyway, the bottom line is that's where that deal stands. Now, where does that compare with my deal? Well, I went back to my spreadsheet and I actually took out, I set to zero my ticket surcharge. I had at one point tried a $10 level, but price elasticity of demand was such that I felt was too high, and I knew the Raiders wouldn't go for it, so I thought the most I could squeeze out was $7.50, and that produced $122 million over a 40-year period. So I thought, well, what happened if I set it to zero? And I did. I was negative by about $8 million with respect to revenues under total bond issuance costs. So I adjusted by looking at my luxury box average cost, which was at a really, really low $125,000 per box for 300 boxes. Lower than the original luxury box costs at the Oakland Coliseum for the Raiders, and even lower than the high end available currently, which is $155,000. So we're talking about a brand new stadium. I upped it to $134,000. Then I have a retail area transaction surcharge. I set that from 50 cents to 70 cents. And the other adjustment, those are the two primary adjustments that I made. Well, actually, and there's one other. I upped the average room rate from $227 to $230, so basically $3. That's still below the average room rate for San Francisco, which is at $255 per room. Given that we have a W-style and better hotel complex proposed as part of my version of Coliseum City, that's a reasonable ask. And note, I managed to set all of my other prices such that they're still low. Like, for example, the average $2,000 per seat PSL cost. Average, I might add. Average. So all of that gave me a $40 million surplus of bond revenue over bond issuance costs for the Raiders Stadium. Now, some of you are saying, well, didn't you say you have a $500 million surplus? And I did, but that came from the savings of the revenue generated by the A Stadium complex that I could then apply to a combined financial statement for both complexes. Do you see? That's where that came from. So, but right now, where it stands right now, I'm able to do this without the ticket surcharge that Mr. Davis hates so much. But also, my proposal will net the Raiders $2.1 billion in new revenue. That's right, $2.1 billion that we don't need to pay for the stadium. You understand what I'm saying? That's $2.1 billion over a 40-year period. So the city thinks that its deal is better than Floyd Kephart's deal. Marc Badain said that the deal the city brought to him was actually worse than Floyd's, but my deal is better than both. And the Raiders would love it. Hear that, Badain? All right, that's where we stand right now.